Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today we are joined by Rob and Kristy, who are going to share their experience of adopting their son through our agency. So welcome, Rob and Kristy.
Hello.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So can you guys first start by sharing with our community when you guys first started thinking about adoption and kind of what led you to our agency? Because it can be hard on folks who maybe are considering adoption but have no awareness of what's the first step, the idea of working with an agency versus, another route or whatnot. Talk to us about that time in your life.
We had talked about it briefly when we were earlier in our relationship, how we wanted to grow our family, and adoption was always kind of something we had talked about. And then we decided to not have our own family for a long while until...
We've been married 20 years.
20 years this year.
It was only at year 18 that we were like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do this now. Yeah, let's do this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we, I started with the internet research and I Googled a bunch, and I actually found all the Adoptions from the Heart videos on YouTube, and I watched probably, 3 to 4 hours worth, and then I was like, babe, you got to check this out. So, and then I actually contacted, I think it was you directly, Amanda. Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about why you specifically chose this agency when it comes to, certain services, resources, birth parents, open adoption, because I don't think people really realize that part is that every agency may be a little bit different and the importance of values and things like that.
Well, I mean, first, going into it, you start to educate yourself. At our age, obviously, we don't know much about adoption than people. Maybe we know about international adoption. We've been exposed to international adoption. But once I started learning about what domestic open adoption was, it really kind of clicked for me as something that would be great for everybody.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know if it's common knowledge, but it seems like common knowledge that adoption is a trauma, and losing that connection, that biological connection is, detrimental for the birth mom, for the kid, so it was important to us, one, that you guys facilitated that connection, and two, I really liked your birth parent fund.
That was a big part.
That was a big part
of choosing this, knowing that it was more of a holistic look at and help for the birth parents, whether they chose the adoption plan or not to, that there was something around support for the birth parents.
And also the politics around adoption. It was important to us that your agency looked at adoptive parents equally, whether it was a single mom or a single dad or a cis-het couple or a gay couple. It was important that you served everybody.
Sure.
That everybody was equally served.
Yeah. And just to jump back for folks who may not know, we have an expecting and birth parent support fund, which is what I think you were referencing, which specifically helps expecting and birth parents at any point in the process. If they're struggling and need some financial assistance, we're able to provide those donations. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because that is an important layer to the services that we provide, full circle, wrap around from beginning, during, and after a birth parent's experience working with our agency. Kristy, I actually really do remember this. It was at your pre-counseling session of you talking about birth parents and the importance of making sure that you respect them and what they go through. And I think
I cried a little.
Yeah, and I think you
Not
also,
at all embarrassing.
During one of the educational classes of hearing a birth parent speak, I remember your reaction, and it reassured for me knowing that you truly understand this, because I think it's one thing for people to be like, yeah, I get it, open adoption, that's great, I want my child to know their story. It's another thing to truly understand what a birth parent goes through, and I think that you were able to truly get it, and I could see by your reaction.
Ask me if I'm going to cry right now.
Sorry.
Well, I think that education session in particular was really impactful, because the birth mom was just so open and vulnerable to questions, and the journey that she described having with her adoptive parents was really beautiful, and it's something that we had hoped to emulate, and maybe one day we'll get there, and we're very hopeful. We love our birth parents.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of adoptive parents have come in maybe with an expectation, maybe not saying they have an expectation, but you maybe have an expectation of what those relationships may look like.
Sure.
But everyone's on a different age, different path, and so it's always going to look a little bit different. And you have to be patient and
take your cues from
yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
And again, the agency helping facilitate these things.
Yeah, super important.
It's very important, and the support there's.
Absolutely. Well, you guys were eventually placed with your son, who I know
Yes.
is the
Yes.
light of your life.
Definitely.
Full circle from when you first started to when you actually were placed and finalized your adoption. Like, in a nutshell, what was that like? What advice do you have for other folks? How long did that take? Because I know that's a big question for folks, is like, how long will it take for me to get my kid, right? That's what I want to know.
That's a big part of our story. So the education part, which we found really valuable,
Very valuable.
very, very valuable. That was almost a year, it seemed like, right?
Well, education, and then also stepping through the home study.
The home study
Profile
and the
meeting.
profile meeting and the profile creation, which took a good long while.
It did.
Yeah.
And then I remember you and I had a conversation where you were like, maybe you want to, if you want to be placed soon, you have some pretty strict guidelines around, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. We were like, nope, we're sticking to it.
You were very supportive
Yeah.
about, be very honest with yourself
Yeah.
when you're going through the questionnaires and
The profile key.
The profile
Profile
key,
key.
exactly, yeah.
And then Rob and I talked about it. We're like, we're gonna just have to be ready. It could take a year. It could take 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think it took like a month and a half.
About a month and a half. That month and a half, though, I was very anxious.
Yeah.
As soon as your profile goes live, you know it can happen at any time, but you know that people have been waiting years, maybe. And you think about it every day, and it's tough.
And actually, we have developed a relationship with, so Oliver has 2 siblings, full siblings, that are with another adoptive family, and we have developed a very positive relationship with them, and we see them frequently. But I was talking with them about their adoption journey, which is very different from ours. And they waited like 2 years, and they were on the verge of giving up because they were older, and then boom, all of a sudden, So
Which
two
coincidentally,
sides of the coin.
they're the same age as us now.
Well, almost
Almost the same
they're,
age.
they're like 47.
Yeah.
We're 43.
But it's about the same age when their kids
Yes,
were born, though.
that's true.
So we get to kind of be on the parallel journey, just behind, see what our future looks like.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that they're not too far away.
Yes,
Sure.
which is great.
Maybe like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And do you guys have any sort of relationship or connection to your son's birth parents, or at this time have they kind of taken a pause on that?
I think it's still really painful.
Yeah. So we still haven't really, but we hope.
We send
hope and we reach
letters.
out. We send letters. Letters are really important.
We sent the photo album, like a double photo album. I guess it was June is when we had the
A couple
picnic.
months
We
ago.
sent it.
I want to take a moment to highlight that, because actually that's really important for folks to hear. For them, their birth parents chose not to have as much openness. It's just too painful. They're still not ready to have that level of relationship. But Rob and Kristy continue to create a space for it. And what I mean by that is they are always open and ready for that call if birth mom or birth father were to ever call in and want to have a visit, and you still send your pictures and letters. And I really want to emphasize that, because I can't tell you how many families let time go by knowing that their birth parents are not receiving them or not quite ready for openness, and they say, well, I'm not going to send them because I don't really have a relationship. The birth parents don't want to be involved. But you're committed to still sending those pictures and letters, and you guys do it routinely, knowing that if and when they do come into the agency and say, I'm ready now, we will have all of these beautiful pictures and letters ready for them for when they are going to get them.
A lot of it is having empathy for the birth parents, because the first year with a new baby, it is hard.
Yeah.
And keeping up with the letters and pictures is like another task. But it's really important, because if they feel like they want to be involved later on and they see that there's no communication from us, how is that going to
Doesn't feel welcome.
And so I want to make sure that is out there still.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then another piece to that is the fact that you're maintaining relationships with other birth siblings and those adoptive parents shows even more your commitment to your child knowing his story. So any ounce of anything that you can get, in my opinion, as an adoptive parent, is something you should be grateful for and embrace. And you guys attend our yearly picnic. You're able to connect with the other family and children at this picnic, and that's important.
And Oliver is not speaking at this point, at this level, but we've decided that we're aunt and uncle to their kids, and their aunt and uncle. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, because, and again,
I feel lucky.
and the hope is that at some point birth mom and birth father will want to open up and kind of connect with all of you, but if not, you're still able to respect your son's birth story through these other things that you're doing.
Right.
You know, and that's the important piece. It's a pet peeve of mine when people say, oh no, you know, we don't have an open adoption, our birth parents didn't want to be involved. That's not enough. You have to be committed to this. You have to show your child that you tried every way that you could. Every year you sent your pictures and letters. You put in that letter a reminder that if and when you're ready to open and have a relationship, I'm here for you. That's really, really important. And I know you guys do that, and it goes a long way.
We end every letter with, you know, we love you.
Yeah.
Because even, sorry, I'm like very emotional.
It's okay.
Holly makes me emotional.
Take your time.
I feel like I don't know them personally, and I don't know their circumstances. But it was the biggest gift for us.
Yeah.
So
Holly
we love
is
them, they're part of our family.
So special. It's so special. And so whether they know it or not, they're in our family.
Yeah. And they do know it. I can't tell you how many birth parents I've spoken to who choose not to have a relationship because for them it's just too hard for whatever reason. They're going through things in their own lives and they're not able to have that connection. But they are so grateful for what you have done and the continued contact that you're trying to offer. So keep doing what you're doing. That's what this is all about. And there's no birth parent out there that doesn't love their child. We just have to be respectful of everyone's experience and what they're going through and not be judgmental of that.
Yeah. Great.
Any other thoughts or advice that you have for folks who are interested in adoption and just wanting to know the reality from people who have been through it now that you're full circle?
Trust that process. Trust all of the education. It seems like a lot. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
You can feel
You
impatient
can feel impatient.
to get through it. But, and initially when we started, I felt impatient because I'm like a doer. I'm a type A doer. And it was so valuable.
Yeah.
Like it gave us a whole bunch of stuff to think about that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise.
And because it's because of the open adoption process, you don't know what's coming down the pike. You don't know if it's going to be an emergency placement or not, or what the birth parent's circumstances will be. You just don't know. So it's important to have all of these variables and understand everything that you can.
Sure. Yeah, what I'm hearing from you is like really embrace what's being given to you, especially through the initial 6 months or a year when you're first going through the education and the home study and the profile meeting, and take advantage of every class that you can take. Listen to other people, hear their stories, because it will ultimately pay off in the end by helping you become a well-rounded adoptive parent.
I think that's true.
Absolutely. What would you say to folks who are struggling? Because I counsel a lot of longer waiting adoptive families. You guys were fortunate enough to only have waited a month and a half,
Yeah.
I think you said.
Big surprise.
But there are a lot of families who do wait a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 years. And it's hard. And it's not that they're bad people. It just hasn't happened for them for a variety of reasons. So, there's only so much we can say as staff. And I'm just curious if you have anything you can offer to folks who are struggling.
I think, parenthood is a blessing, but it's really hard. Like, take the time that you have to really connect with your spouse because it'll be harder afterwards. And I think having a strong bond together is going to help you be better parents.
Absolutely. And actually the same can be said even if you're a single navigating this process.
Oh, gosh.
Learning how to be
Yes.
confident in who you are and using that time to really educate and prepare, because your life is going to completely change.
It definitely.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I wish I had addressed that as well.
That's okay.
Maybe just in terms of partnership, that's my advice. But you also have to take a lot of things that you think define you. Like, I'm a big reader, and you have to make space in your life for a baby. So make make the most of it in advance. You know, enjoy reading, enjoy cooking, enjoy doing everything, because you're gonna have another blessing, but all that other stuff is gonna sort of get pushed aside.
Yeah, being a parent won't be the only thing that defines us,
No,
but it's definitely a much.
it's a huge part of it.
The ratio is different now.
That's what it is. It's the ratio.
It's just the ratio. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I am so happy for you. I always love to see you with your son because I feel like it's this magical moment in your life, and you're both amazing people. The biggest reason why I wanted them to appear on this platform is you both were always so flexible and patient, and like you opened your hearts. And I remember the first day I met you, and I just felt that from you. You did not have all the answers. You definitely were very organized. I remember Kristy with all her to-do lists and getting everything in line.
Yeah.
But like you were patient with everything, and you truly took your time to understand what was happening, and you were really open to embracing open adoption, and what this process was all about. And not everybody is that way, and I think that it has serviced you, because now you're in a space where you are well-rounded parents, and you've built your family, and you guys are great. So we appreciate you sharing. Hearing stories from folks who actually have been through it is really helpful for our community, and we hope to continue to touch other families. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.